The
The
fuselage
stars
integrity is
stretched
compromised
endlessly
right
across
here.
the void,
We have to
glittering like
stabilize the
distant
structure
fires
before
in a
we can
cold
attempt
night.
entry.
Eli Voss floated in the cockpit of his small scout vessel, the Trailblazer, scanning the silent reaches of the Orion expanse. Most of the galaxy had long forgotten this sector, a graveyard of abandoned ships, derelict stations, and debris drifting in eternal orbit. But for Eli, the emptiness was not frightening. It was an invitation. He had always been drawn to machines, to the way gears, circuits, and systems worked together in harmony. Other humans preferred bustling colonies, thriving trade routes, or bustling spaceports, but Eli was different. He hunted the forgotten, the discarded, and the broken. And today, a faint blip on his long-range scanner had made his pulse quicken. The blip was large, enormous even. The readings were unstable, fluctuating wildly, but it had mass. And mass in the expanse was never just a rock. As he approached, the derelict ship loomed into view, a colossal vessel, dark and silent, drifting with a slow, haunting grace. Its hull was massive, jagged in places from impacts and age, yet it retained a strange elegance. Alien in design, yet faintly familiar. The galaxy had abandoned it centuries ago, leaving it to rot among the stars, but to Eli, it was not abandoned. It was waiting. He docked carefully, the clamps of the Trailblazer biting into the derelict's hull with a hiss of pressurized air. The ship groaned as if awakening from a long sleep, sending vibrations up through the deck. Eli's heart thumped. Most mechanics would have turned back. Most humans would have seen only danger, a relic that belonged in a museum or a scrapyard. But Eli saw opportunity. He floated into the ship's airlock, his boots clanking softly against the cold metal. The lights flickered weakly, responding to his presence. Dust motes danced in the shafts of light piercing the dark corridors. The silence was deep and complete, broken only by the distant hum of dormant machinery. This ship had been abandoned for so long that the air itself felt foreign. Eli moved through the corridors, scanning panels, examining wiring, and noting the intricate designs etched into the walls. This was no ordinary starship. It was larger than any vessel he had ever seen, and the technology was unlike anything in the Galactic standard manuals. Panels shifted slightly under his touch, screens flickered when he approached, as if the ship were testing him. "This isn't dead," Eli whispered to himself. "It's sleeping." He made his way to what appeared to be the control center. Consoles lined the walls, their surfaces coated in dust, yet still faintly glowing with residual power. Eli pressed his hand to one of the panels, and a screen blinked to life. Symbols he didn't recognize scrolled across the display, but the ship responded to him in subtle ways, adjusting power flows, opening hatches, activating minor systems. For hours, Eli wandered through the ship, tracing circuits, reconnecting power nodes, and improvising repairs with whatever tools he had brought. Every adjustment he made caused the ship to pulse, almost like it were aware of his touch. He could feel it, a subtle vibration under his boots, a whisper of energy through his gloves. Then he found the heart of the ship, a massive energy core, dormant but intact. Its containment field shimmered faintly, as if it were alive. Eli approached carefully. The core had markings, runes of some ancient design, and the metal around it seemed to resonate when he came near. He took a deep breath and connected his diagnostic interface to the core. Numbers and symbols danced across his screen. Energy levels were low but stable. Eli frowned, realizing that reactivating the core fully might be dangerous. Yet curiosity gnawed at him. With careful hands, he adjusted the containment field, reconnecting the core to auxiliary power lines. A soft hum began to fill the room, growing louder and resonating through the ship. Lights along the corridors flickered, slowly stabilizing. Panels blinked awake, revealing schematics of the ship's inner workings. Eli's eyes widened. The ship was a fortress of unimaginable scale, with engines capable of traveling far beyond the fastest vessels in known space, and weapons systems that could rival entire fleets. But there was something else, something subtle. The ship seemed to recognize him, or at least it responded as if humans were meant to interface with it. Suddenly, alarms blared faintly, not threatening, but alerting. The energy core pulsed more rapidly, bathing the control room in soft blue light. Eli stepped back, heart pounding. For a moment he feared he had pushed too far. Then the ship spoke not in words but in thought. A soft presence echoed in his mind, human, correct, continue. Eli froze. He had heard legends of sentient starships, but he never expected one to acknowledge him directly. His pulse quickened with excitement. Over the next few hours, he explored more testing systems, repairing minor circuits and slowly bringing life back into the derelict. Each system he restored seemed to awaken part of the ship's memory. Holographic images flickered to life, revealing glimpses of a long-forgotten crew. Alien faces, humans long dead, and unknown species floated through his vision in silent projection, showing moments of triumph, discovery, and tragedy. Eli realized the ship had a story, a history that the galaxy had chosen to forget. It had once been a beacon, a weapon, and a discovery vessel. It had seen battles, charted unknown systems, and carried secrets that could shift the balance of power. And now, through his hands, it was stirring again. Night fell on the expanse outside, though in space, night was just the absence of nearby stars. Eli sat in the control center, watching the ship system slowly come to life. The hum of the engines, the flicker of lights, and the soft vibration beneath his feet created a rhythm that was almost musical. "This is incredible," he whispered. "You've been waiting for someone like me." Then, without warning, the energy core flared. A surge of power coursed through the ship, lighting up the corridors in a brilliant display of light and shadow. Panels shone with information, holographic screens floated in the air, and the dormant AI began to speak in a steady, calm voice. "Welcome, human. You are recognized. The galaxy has abandoned us, but you have arrived." Eli's heart raced. The ship was alive, and it was aware of him. He realized then that he was no longer just a mechanic. He was a witness, a caretaker, and perhaps the key to something much greater than he had ever imagined. As he floated through the ship, checking engines and reading systems, he noticed the first signs of movement in the external world. Small drones, debris, or perhaps other explorers were beginning to drift closer, drawn by the reactivation of the colossal vessel. Eli knew that soon the galaxy would notice. But for now, in the silent, dark expanse, he allowed himself a moment of awe. A human mechanic alone in the void, standing inside a ship the galaxy had abandoned, but one that might change everything. The hum of the engines filled the corridors, a lullaby of potential and power. Eli smiled. He had found it. The colossal starship had waited centuries, and at last, someone human had arrived to awaken it. And as he floated in the control center, watching the stars outside, he realized this was only the beginning. Eli Voss could feel the pulse of the ship beneath his hands, a heartbeat of energy that had waited centuries for someone to care enough to awaken it. Every panel he touched, every circuit he repaired, caused a ripple of response through the colossal vessel. It was as if the ship itself was learning from him, understanding that a human had returned to bring it back to life. For days, Eli worked tirelessly. He mapped the engine systems, traced the wiring of long-forgotten weapon arrays, and studied the ship's AI logs. The information was overwhelming. Schematics scrolled across holographic displays, showing engines capable of faster-than-light travel, shields that could repel the fiercest attacks, and weapons that could devastate entire fleets. But it wasn't just the ship's power that amazed him. It was its adaptability. As he repaired one system, another seemed to shift subtly, responding not just mechanically, but intuitively. The ship seemed to recognize human thought patterns, adjusting itself to Eli's improvisation and creativity. No other vessel he had ever worked on had responded like this. Eli paused at the ship's central control room, rubbing his eyes. "You're alive, more alive than anything out there," he whispered. "And you've been waiting for me." He began working on the propulsion system next. The engines were enormous, a lattice of alien technology interwoven with advanced human mechanics. As he repaired and rerouted circuits, the ship hummed more loudly, vibrating beneath him with a quiet anticipation. Holographic schematics floated in the air, showing star maps, potential jump points, and hidden systems. Eli realized the ship had been designed for exploration, war, and survival, capable of traversing places even the galaxy's most advanced vessels could not. It wasn't long before he discovered the ship's logs, left behind by its original crew. The recordings were fragmented, their voices echoing faintly in the AI's memory banks. They spoke of a catastrophic failure centuries ago, one that had forced them to abandon the ship. Its power was too dangerous, too advanced, and the galaxy had feared what it could become. Eli frowned as he listened. "So the galaxy just left you here," he muttered. "They didn't understand you, but I do." The AI responded in a calm, measured tone. "You have proven yourself capable. Human ingenuity recognized. Systems will respond." Encouraged, Eli began pushing the ship further. He tested its shields, rerouted energy to weapons systems, and even powered up the primary engines. At first, only faint tremors ran through the ship. But soon, the colossal engines roared to life, shaking the hull with immense energy. Lights flickered along the corridors, and dormant drones inside the ship began moving, performing repairs and maintenance. Then came the first test flight. Eli carefully initiated the ship's thrusters, and the Starship glided smoothly through the expanse, cutting through the debris-filled void with surprising grace. It was more than responsive, it was alive, anticipating his movements and complementing his commands. As the ship stabilized in orbit near a nearby asteroid cluster, Eli noticed something troubling. Sensors detected other ships approaching. They were scavengers and pirates, drawn by the energy signature of the derelict vessel. Eli realized quickly that the galaxy had not forgotten this ship entirely. Others had begun to notice its return. He took a deep breath and activated the ship's defensive systems. Panels shifted, revealing weapons previously hidden behind armored plates. Lasers and energy cannons hummed softly, waiting for his command. Yet Eli hesitated. The HFY principle ran through his mind. He was a mechanic, a human who had brought the ship back to life, not a conqueror. He would not destroy without reason. The first pirate vessel approached, its weapons primed. Eli maneuvered the ship, using its size and agility to outmaneuver them. The colossal starship could rotate its massive hull, extend shields, and even generate decoy holograms to confuse enemies. Eli marveled at the precision. This was not just a machine. It was a combination of ancient alien engineering and human creativity, a partnership across time and species. The pirates attacked, firing energy beams that glanced harmlessly off the shields. Eli smiled. "You guys really don't understand what you're up against." Using clever tactics, he drew the attackers into an asteroid field, weaving the ship around massive rocks while remaining undetected. The pirates fired blindly, damaging themselves against the asteroids. Eli realized that human intuition, combined with the ship's technology, gave him a unique advantage. After the skirmish, he accessed the ship's full arsenal. Weapons systems included energy cannons capable of immense destructive power, automated defense drones, and shields that could regenerate in seconds. Yet Eli was careful. He studied them, understanding that raw power without purpose was dangerous. The ship could be a weapon, yes, but it could also be a guardian, a protector of the galaxy. Days passed, and Eli continued awakening the vessel. He repaired internal systems, optimized energy flow, and explored hidden sections of the ship. Deep inside, he found laboratories, data archives, and even living quarters. It was a city within a ship, abandoned but preserved. As he explored, the AI guided him, providing translations of alien scripts and showing the locations of critical systems. The ship communicated silently, responding to human logic in ways no other machine ever had. Then came a breakthrough. Eli discovered a secondary energy core, connected to the primary but long dormant. He realized that activating it would unlock the ship's true potential, increasing speed, strength, and defense exponentially. But there was risk. The original crew had abandoned the ship because they feared this very core. A misstep could destroy the vessel, or worse. Eli studied the core, examining the alien mechanisms and human-compatible nodes. He worked methodically, connecting circuits, rerouting power, and carefully monitoring the energy output. The core hummed softly, responding to his touch. With a final adjustment, he activated it. The ship shuddered, a deep resonance echoing through every deck. Lights blazed across the hull, energy flowed through previously dormant conduits, and the AI spoke with renewed clarity. Core activated. Potential unlocked. Human ingenuity verified. Eli grinned. Looks like we're ready. But the activation drew attention. Long-range sensors detected multiple ships converging on the Starship. Larger, more organized fleets, mercenaries, corporate enforcers, and galactic authorities were now aware that the derelict had returned. Eli understood the danger. The galaxy wanted the ship for themselves, feared it, or both. He would have to act quickly. He dove into the ship's systems, learning every control, every hidden function. Defensive turrets extended, shields strengthened, and automated repair drones scuttled across the hull. The ship responded faster than he could imagine, anticipating threats and calculating optimal responses. Eli realized something profound. Humans were meant to operate this ship. Not the galaxy, not alien species. It was designed for someone like him. The first fleet arrived, massive vessels bristling with weaponry. Eli guided the ship carefully, avoiding direct conflict. Instead of firing immediately, he used the ship's capabilities creatively. Gravitational pulses to push enemy vessels off course, energy decoys to mislead targeting systems, and environmental hazards like asteroid fields to his advantage. Each maneuver showcased a unique human trait: ingenuity, adaptability, and bold creativity. By the end of the engagement, the attackers were driven away, confused and humbled by the sheer unpredictability of the colossal vessel. Eli floated in the control center, breathing heavily but exhilarated. He had survived. More than that, he had demonstrated that human creativity and intuition were unmatched, even against overwhelming odds. As the ship stabilized once more, Eli looked out at the stars. The galaxy had abandoned this vessel, believing it too dangerous or too incomprehensible. But he had awakened it. He had proven that humans were not just survivors or workers. They were creators, innovators, and problem solvers. And as the AI softly acknowledged his achievements, Eli realized that the journey was just beginning. The ship had power beyond imagination, enemies approaching from all directions, and secrets still buried deep within its hull. He had unlocked the first layer of its potential, but many more waited to be discovered. The colossal starship had awakened, and with it, a new chapter in human history was beginning. Eli Voss floated in the colossal starship's control center, his hands steady on the console despite the tension in the air. Outside, the galaxy was waking up to the presence of a ship thought lost forever. Fleets of alien warships, mercenaries, and corporate enforcers approached, drawn by the colossal energy signature. They did not know what awaited them. The AI, now fully integrated with Eli's commands, responded in a calm, almost reverent tone. "Human operator, your presence has unlocked potentials unforeseen. They approach. How will you proceed?" Eli took a deep breath. He had repaired the ship, unlocked its cores, and explored its systems. He knew it was powerful enough to challenge fleets, defend worlds, or dominate sectors. But that power came with responsibility. Humans had the capacity to be more than conquerors. They could be innovators, guardians, and leaders. He had to prove that. He began by analyzing the incoming forces. The first wave was fast but poorly coordinated pirate vessels seeking quick plunder. Eli maneuvered the ship, not to attack immediately, but to position strategically. He extended energy shields and activated decoy holograms, drawing enemy fire harmlessly into asteroid fields. The pirates faltered, their ships colliding with debris as they tried to target the Starship. Eli smiled. Even in the galaxy's vastness, human creativity turned the odds in his favor. But the next wave was different. Organized fleets, their ships larger and more heavily armed, arrived from multiple directions. Eli realized this was no longer a skirmish, it was a test. The galaxy wanted this ship, or perhaps feared it, and they would not leave without a fight. He initiated the ship's defensive protocols, but this time with a twist. Instead of firing recklessly, Eli used the ship's systems in unconventional ways. Gravitational pulses disrupted enemy formations. Energy fields created temporary mazes in space. Automated drones performed synchronized maneuvers, confusing and dividing the enemy fleet. Every action was precise, deliberate, and clever, a demonstration of human problem-solving at its finest. One massive vessel broke through the defenses, closing in rapidly. Eli knew a direct clash would be devastating. He accessed the ship's hidden systems, ancient technology long dormant. Energy cannons larger than entire stations powered up, their beams cutting through the void with precision. But he did not fire immediately. Instead, he used the ship's environment to his advantage, luring the enemy into a trap. The massive vessel collided with a dense asteroid belt, its systems damaged before it could respond. The AI spoke again, admiration in its tone. Human strategy is unconventional, effective. You embody qualities not seen in prior operators. Eli nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility. He realized that this ship was more than a tool. It was a partner, responding to his intuition, creativity, and courage. Together, they were unstoppable, but only if he remained wise. Hours passed in tense maneuvers, skirmishes, and strategic retreats. Eli discovered more about the ship's hidden abilities. It could bend energy flows to create shields stronger than anything in the galaxy. It could accelerate to speeds beyond conventional warp, and its weapons could disable fleets without destroying entire systems. Most importantly, it could anticipate threats in ways no human alone could manage, yet it depended on human judgment for ultimate decisions. As the battles continued, Eli realized something profound. The galaxy had abandoned this ship because it feared what humans could do with it. But fear alone could not contain ingenuity. Humans were adaptable, creative, and willing to take risks others would avoid. Eli smiled at the realization. The ship's true power was not in its engines, shields, or weapons. Its power was the human mind that guided it. The climax came when the largest fleet arrived, a coordinated armada intent on seizing the Starship. Eli had to act decisively. He analyzed the fleet's formation, noting weaknesses in their approach patterns. Then, combining the ship's ancient systems with his own improvisation, he executed a daring plan. He activated the ship's primary energy core fully, sending a pulse that temporarily disabled enemy targeting systems. At the same time, he used the ship's ability to manipulate gravitational fields, creating illusions of multiple starships where there was only one. Enemy fleets fired at shadows, collided with each other, and became disoriented. Eli moved quickly, striking key vessels with precision energy blasts that disabled engines and communications without unnecessary destruction. The battle raged across the void, a dance of light, energy, and ingenuity. Eli's tactics were unconventional, unpredictable, and distinctly human. Each maneuver showcased adaptability and creativity that no AI or alien fleet could anticipate. Slowly but surely, the armada was driven back, disoriented and humbled by a single human's command over a vessel thought lost to time. Finally, silence returned. The galaxy's forces retreated, confused and fearful. Eli floated in the control center, exhausted but exhilarated. He had defended the ship, demonstrated the value of human ingenuity, and ensured that the colossal vessel would remain a symbol of potential, not just a weapon. The AI spoke softly, almost reverently. "Human operator, you have proven the worth of your species. You have awakened potentials that were forgotten. You are not just a mechanic, you are a guardian." Eli smiled, understanding at last what this partnership truly meant. The ship was powerful, yes, but its purpose was guided by human values, creativity, ingenuity, and the courage to act wisely. It was a lesson for the galaxy, a reminder that humans could achieve greatness not through brute force alone, but through thought, problem-solving, and moral strength. Over the following days, Eli explored the ship further, uncovering archives, laboratories, and hidden records of the original crew. They had left messages for future operators, explaining the ship's full capabilities and its intended purpose. Not conquest, but exploration, protection, and inspiration. Eli realized that his role was not merely to pilot a vessel, but to become its steward, guiding it with human wisdom in a galaxy that had once abandoned it. Word of the awakened starship began to spread. Scientists, explorers, and diplomats reached out, curious and cautious. Eli maintained careful control, showing the galaxy that humans could wield power responsibly. He demonstrated repairs, exploration techniques, and defensive maneuvers, teaching others without giving up control. The ship became a symbol of hope and ingenuity, a reminder that the galaxy underestimated humans at its own peril. In the quiet of the control center, Eli looked out at the stars, the colossal ship floating gracefully among the glittering lights. He reflected on the journey so far, the discovery, the repairs, the battles, and the awakening. The galaxy had abandoned this ship, leaving it to drift in the void. But humanity had found it, understood it, and given it new life. And that, Eli realized, was the essence of being human. To take what was forgotten, misunderstood, or dismissed, and to create, adapt, and protect. To turn despair into opportunity, fear into ingenuity, and the abandoned into a beacon of potential. The AI hummed beside him, lights flickering in patterns that seemed almost like a heartbeat. "Your species is remarkable. You have awakened not only the ship but the promise within it." Eli nodded, a quiet pride swelling within him. "Yes," he thought, "and this is just the beginning." The colossal starship, once abandoned and forgotten, now glided through the galaxy under the guidance of a human mind. It was not a weapon of fear. It was a testament to human creativity, courage, and ingenuity. A living reminder that even in a universe full of advanced civilizations, humans could achieve greatness through thought, skill, and heart. And as the ship charted a course for distant, unexplored systems, Eli felt a sense of purpose he had never known. The galaxy had abandoned the starship, but humanity had awakened it. And together, they would shape the future, one daring adventure at a time.